It's the Andrew Fox Show. Tonight's guest, comedian Chanel Ali, comedian Brian Isley. I'm James McElhinney. Now here's your host, Andrew Fox.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Andrew Fox Show. I am your host, Andrew Fox. We have a very big show tonight. I'm very excited for our guest, Chanel Ali. We'll be talking to her in just a few minutes. But first, someone I'm not that excited to talk to, my co-host, James McElhinney. How are you, James?
I'm doing okay.
Just okay?
I'm not as excited as I should be.
Why?
Because you're not excited to see me.
Grow up. You know, I always tell you, grow up and be a professional.
I will. You're right.
You know? Chanel is a big stand-up.
She is a big deal.
Are you?
I'm excited to see her.
Yeah, you should be.
Okay.
But
Just
you're like a mediocre small-time comic.
That's true, yeah.
Do you have any special...
Advice for aspiring mediocre small comedians?
Yeah, go ahead. You got
the best thing is to not come prepared to open mics.
That is a good idea.
Sit
That
in
does
the
sound
back.
like you. Yeah, sit in the back.
And don't talk
to anybody. Yeah. Networking, that's made up. You shouldn't do that.
No, don't be on Facebook.
Never.
I'm not on Facebook.
Good, that's smart. That's right, you don't do social media.
No.
And how does that work for you?
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Hey, can I tell you a story?
Sure.
You remember Brian Isley from way back in the first episode?
Yeah.
Brian used to have this podcast. It was called The Brian Isley Show.
Okay.
This is basically The Brian Isley Show. I just took over as host.
Good job.
Did you know that?
Seems inappropriate, but okay.
I don't think so. But on The Brian Isley Show, I used to do a segment on The Brian Isley Show called White News.
Uh-huh.
You ever hear it?
Yeah, I think I did actually.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It was a huge hit. People would call in to Brian all the time and they'd say, I don't know, your show, that's okay, but the best part is White News with Andrew Fox, everyone would always say. Because my career has skyrocketed thanks to White News.
It has it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I said I should do that favor to Brian.
That's awesome.
So now Brian's here.
So you're...
Look, it's Brian. He's going to do Black News.
This is awesome.
Hi, Brian. Welcome back to the show.
Introduction. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for hijacking my black show and turning it white.
You're welcome. It's America.
That is true.
You're gonna do your own kind of commentary.
Yeah.
And we're gonna call it Black News.
Right.
Yeah, you want to do it now?
Please. Yeah, sure. That's what I'm here for.
Do you need like a drum roll or something?
That's racist.
Why is that racist? Because like if I ask for an accordion roll or something.
That would be more appropriate.
All right, well I'm gonna give you a drum roll then.
Please, thank you. I appreciate that.
And now, Black News with Brian Isley.
That sounds great. Welcome to Black News with Brian Isley. First things first.
Yes.
There's a new town vying for an NBA team.
Which town?
This town is the home of Jack Daniels. It is Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Well, that name doesn't sound appropriate.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are aware, but the NBA is over 80% black. Ain't no niggas playing in Lynchburg, Tennessee. But could you imagine that draft, though? Could you imagine that draft?
Yeah.
That expansion draft?
What would it look like?
With the number one pick in the 2018 NBA expansion draft, the Lynchburg Lynchers select LeBron James. This just in, LeBron James has just retired. He is not with the Lynchburg Lynchers at all. Speaking of the NBA, this All-Star Weekend in Los Angeles, a few weeks prior, the NBA held a secret draft with Steph Curry and LeBron James. When the commissioner was asked why the draft wasn't televised, he said that most players felt uncomfortable with their draft selection. Translation, they're all a bunch of bitches. LeBron and KD had an interview with Kerry Champion on ESPN. And LeBron James said that Donald Trump doesn't understand the people, nor does he give a fuck about the people. Fox News countered with, I know you are, but what am I? Black Panther was just released this weekend, and the support is overwhelming. In good ways, and in not so good ways. While the numbers are staggering, African Americans are flooding the theaters, draped in costumes, supporting the movie, which is fine. But you're not going to see Coming to America. So stop dressing as King Joffrey Jofer, Prince Hakeem, and Simi. And last but not least, I think this is the most important part of Black News. My album has just been recorded and it's being released soon on Spotify, Tidal, and iTunes.
Soon? You got a date?
Yeah, of course I do.
What is it?
But
Tell
I'm
me.
not going to release that just yet. I will figure I will be on Black News again soon.
Okay.
Or is this a one-time?
No, you'll be back. You'll be back.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Details coming soon for Brian Isley's debut comedy album.
It was a good special.
It was. I appreciate
I came.
it. Thank you. You actually did a pop-in and had a fantastic set.
That's why I brought up. I was fishing for that compliment.
We burned the recording.
What?
Yeah. You can't have better sets than me at my show.
Oh, so you heard it here. I had a better set, right?
We burned it.
We burned it. Ah, I was gonna do my own album.
A 5-minute album.
Yeah, why not? That's what mine was gonna be called.
Oh, okay. The clean white version. Alright, okay, I get it. I get that.
Yeah.
I didn't go over my head.
Well, I hope not.
Oh.
So you did it, the first Black News, one of many.
Yeah, it's
Did
fantastic.
you enjoy being behind the desk?
Not as controversial as white news. We almost got canceled 3 times.
Because of me?
Yeah, 3 good segments.
Wow.
Yeah. Hate speech is what they said on
No,
iTunes.
they didn't.
Yes.
Well,
When we
they
tried to
didn't.
submit the episode, yeah, they sent it back.
Good Lord.
They said hate news. We can't deal with this.
All right. Well, thank you for keeping it clean for me. I may have to bleep a few things.
I think about 17 things.
17 things.
You'll be alright.
Brian Isley, everybody. And look out for Fuck It.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with Chanel Ellie. And we're back with more Andrew Fox Show. James, how did you enjoy Black News?
This is my first experience with Black News.
And how did you like it, though?
Yes.
Is this your first experience?
It was good. It was interesting.
Brian's really funny.
It was informative.
I'll tell you who's even funnier.
Yeah.
She's a stand-up comedian and the host of Daddyless Issues podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Chanel Ali. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, this is small.
It is small.
Yeah.
You have no business being here. I'm sorry to do this to you.
I gotta say that was my first experience with Black News, and I definitely want you to rename it.
Rename
Just
it?
call it a whole other thing other than Black News.
Is that right with you, Brian?
And that's my 2 cents.
You could talk.
What would your suggestion be?
Oh man, there's so many ways that you could fix it, even, you know?
Brian
okay.
Isley News?
Yeah, or just like, here's what I've been thinking. Like, you could just call it all types of things. Other than this is a representative of Black people and
That's
our
true.
news.
That is not your news.
But he
It's
did-
hefty.
He
It's
did that
hefty.
to me.
He did it to you because somebody had to reel you in. You know, somebody had to get you to acknowledge what you were doing, so that we could name it something.
I'm a better
People wouldn't know
white
what you're talking
representative
about.
than he's a black representative.
In a weird way, that's
Yes,
true.
that's true.
In a weird way.
You do a lot of cool shows.
So many shows.
You just did the Guys We F podcast.
Yes, I did. I just taped an episode of the Guys We podcast.
Yeah.
A very popular feminist podcast. It's very sex positive.
Mhm.
We barely talked about sex on my episode, which is how I know I won. I
There
think
you go.
I'm like, man,
That's
I really did that well.
Nice.
They're gonna be like, we need you back to cover all
Yeah.
the sex stuff.
They were like, you tricked us. You fooled us with like cute stories and other things. We want more of that sex.
Congratulations. Well, this show, that's all we talk about.
Yeah, no.
So who are you?
Okay, well, here's a list.
But you saw, speaking of, we were talking about social media earlier, James doesn't use it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
That's interesting that's an interesting choice for a comedy career.
I'm new. I'm getting better.
To just be like, I'm not going to use this tool.
But that podcast put you up, though, didn't it?
Yeah, I did the podcast a while ago, but it came out 2 days ago, or maybe not even a full 2 days, maybe like 30 hours ago.
Yeah.
And I've been watching my Instagram followers go up like every few minutes. I'm getting like another 20 or 30.
Oh,
so.
man.
And it's mostly like women whose accounts are private, so I can't even really like peep on them and see if I want to follow them back. But I know they must have heard that podcast.
And tell people about your podcast.
Yeah, so I have a podcast called Daddyless Issues. We call it an orphan podcast, which I know is heavy-handed, right? People are always asking me, like, can I call you an orphan? I'm like, not to my face. Please don't do that, you know?
What are people's ideas of orphans when they...
Oh, so many things. A lot of people like think about Annie, or like people ask me if I like, you know, have ever cleaned a chimney. Just all types of old-timey...
Like Charles Dickens type stuff.
Just, please, what's wrong? Like, do you get tired of eating things out of a big pot? And I'm like, that's not, you know. But I did grow up kind of on my own. I got taken away from my mom when I was 2, and I moved around a lot after that. But there's a lot of comedians that only have one parent or no parents. And a lot of people don't know that the UN defines an orphan as a person that's lost one or more parents through death or abandonment. So a lot of people are orphans and don't even know it.
Yeah.
And they're pointing at me like, ha ha, I'm like, nah, you know?
You're an orphan too, sucker.
So it's cool. We bring on the podcast, we bring on artists or mostly comedians who grew up in less than 2-parent households just to find out like how they got by, like how did they manage and what skills did they learn, because that's what we do when we don't have parents. We self-parent, you know, so we kind of take stock of ourselves and make corrections as we go, or don't make corrections and then just get really, really messed up. So it's a really honest way for us to talk about all that stuff.
Are there actual orphanages?
Oh, yes. They exist. That's a real thing.
And do you get like toys that people donate at Christmas?
Oh, yeah. There's so many programs where you can just give things to kids that have nothing.
Were you looking for a toy?
No, I just...
Did your parents give a toy away?
They gave all my toys to the orphanage.
He's like, I never believed that the toys were getting to these kids.
They're like, you're ungrateful. These orphans will make it better.
Well, I listened to your origin story episode.
Yeah.
And you were an excellent host.
Oh, thanks.
You have any tips?
On hosting a good show?
Yeah.
Step 1, be a good comedian.
Step 1, don't ask your guests how to do it.
Oh, that was bad. Right off the bat. I shouldn't have done
I'm
that.
just giving you these
I
steps.
should have asked you off mic.
Is it fake it till you make it? Is
Yeah. Yeah, like really make sure your Instagram stories show that you're working on it all the time, you know, just...
Oh, mine's private.
Yeah.
Let's take it out private.
Gotta get it together.
Don't complain about your real 9-to-5 job.
Oh, I've heard that. That makes you a better host. You're changing the subject.
It's like just attacking you.
Intervention now. But who do you host it with?
Amber Rollo.
Yeah.
She's another comedian. She's an orphan as well.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom died when she was 9 and her dad when she was like 14. And yeah, we just met on a movie set where we were both filming this really short film about a guy who his pants. And, you know, I played a very serious cop.
That's right.
That's like interrogating him walking down the street, like, why are you walking all funny, sir? What's up here? Why are you sweating profusely? And when I got on set, she was in the kitchen making the poop. She was making the poop for like a scene where he obviously himself, and she was like melting down like Snickers bars and like candies bars with like this real like calm focus, and she was like shaping them into logs of poop. And I just walked up to her and was like, "Who are you? What is your name? And how is this happening?"
You want to start a podcast?
Yeah, it just like it just came out, and then she was like, "We should talk about this. This is an interesting part. There's lots of comedians that are like us, and we have knowledge, and so we just started it."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was called Leaves of Autumn.
Yeah, that movie's called Leaves of Autumn.
Was that your first acting experience?
That was.
Yeah.
That was my first acting gig. A cop that harasses a guy himself.
And what was the casting where they're like, you look like you're good at investigating people who
Yes.
take...
They were like, you look like you could harass a man in a really official way and make him feel like it's his fault that he's getting harassed. And as soon as we did the Universal, they were like, she's great, she's perfect,
Awesome.
she's got so much authority. So yeah, it was. They knew what they were doing when they cast me.
Did you do anything prepared? Did you like walk a beat?
I didn't. No,
No.
but my co-cop, my partner. I'm sorry, I don't know cop terms. My partner was John Moses.
Okay.
And he's a comedian.
Yeah.
He's been on Comedy Central. Huge white guy, like really tall, very cop looking. And I remember he kept telling me in the days up to filming, like, just keep thinking Black Republican, Black Republican. And I was like, Black Republicans are not cops, okay? They are very docile. They're sitting at home with their 5-pound weights. Like, come on. I don't know if this is the method acting that I need. But yeah, we just like, we just tried it out. We just like tried feeling really entitled and we were good at it.
Nice. Can people see that somewhere?
Yeah, Leaves of Autumn. You can just look it up on YouTube. I can post it on my Facebook page. I'll put it on
Can
the
we
website
roll a
actually.
clip?
Let's just cut to it. Just
Let's
cut to the
let's
whole
roll a
film.
clip.
Hey, you know it's polite to say excuse me when you bump into people?
Everything all right, sir?
What?
You're in a rush somewhere.
What?
Dispatch, we're investigating a potential suspect in that,
Horse.
in that horse last month.
What?
Over.
Copy that. That was a wacky one. Over.
Suspect is tall, dweeby looking, stupid tie, Jeff Goldblum looking mother.
Hey. Sweaty too.
Yeah, and he's real sweaty. Just like
Like a Batman separated from a plate of wing by a thick, clear pane of glass.
yeah.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
That was great.
You did a great job.
Yeah, right? I
Yeah.
committed to it.
You did really good. Yeah, you didn't seem like a Black Republican at all.
Wait, no. Oh,
It's
'cause
their docile,
we're not supposed
cops.
to be. Yeah.
Listen.
They're not out there bussing people.
You have tips for how to be a good co-host?
Stay on topic.
And Baby Bangs was another sketch you did.
Yeah, so Amber was producing that sketch,
Yeah.
my co-host for the podcast, and she cast me in it. And it's a sketch where I'm just sitting next to a woman who's about to make a very big life decision, and she's not sure, you know, she's about to go into this big fancy office and get this procedure. And I'm like, girl, if you want to get bangs, just get bangs. Like, you can do it. Michelle Obama did it. And it's like, I'm so serious, but I'm obviously talking about something that's really silly. But it was a great shoot. I think I got that scene in like 2 takes. Too.
Nice.
We got it off so good, so it was great.
It was
Did
like
you walk a beat for that one?
No, I didn't. I wore a few wigs. I tried it out. I was like, what do bangs feel like?
it was like satire. It was a
Yes.
satire sketch,
And I like that. I like the. I like. It's good with these comedy words.
Did you apply the rule of threes?
yeah. Call back.
Yeah, it was a good time. I had a really good time on that.
Nice. And then you still got a day job?
Yeah, I do have a day job. I work for OkCupid, that dating app. But I work remotely, usually from home, so it's not that big a deal.
Oh, that's cool.
But I do what they call tech support, but it's really like you just don't have a friend and it's good to email. You know, because sometimes people ask me very technical questions, like they need help with an app or a button or something that's not firing off like it should. But a lot of times it's like, hey, I've been messaging this guy and he wants to meet up with me. Is that okay?
Oh,
And
you know that?
I'm like, where's your mom? Why don't you have any friends? Why are you asking? Yeah, you know, I'm like, you are all alone, and you have this app. But the most frequent complaint that we get, and this is not me throwing shade at you guys specifically, but it's from men. This is I'm talking like hundreds a day of the same email from men saying something's wrong with my account. I've been messaging people all day and no one's responding.
Thank you for not.
Yeah, what about that?
He's like, that's a real concern.
It is a real concern.
Well, we always do check it out, you know? We want to make sure that the messages are working.
And then what do you tell them when?
I'd say, hey, man, I looked into it and it's working as expected. Yeah, you need to spell your messages correctly and be more nice.
You have a whole sheet to send them with like directions on how to properly talk to
I
women?
do, yeah. It's like it automatically loads and I just hit a couple buttons and it populates. And it's really like common sense things like, hey, be polite. If she doesn't respond, don't message her again. You know, just like really walking through the steps of helping you figure out that online dating is not a science and that you have to try things and pay attention when they don't work and don't just keep trying that same old thing, you know?
Did you get to see like what their previous interactions were?
Yeah, I can see everything on the back end. I think that sometimes that makes people uncomfortable. They're like, ew, you're reading my stuff. And I'm always like, trust me, I don't want to read that. Trust me, I'm not sitting at home with popcorn like, this is great. I'm sitting there like, ew, ew, ew. Oh, God. Oh, she's into it. Oh, gross, 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 gross. Because I'm like, if I have to go into someone's messages, I'm looking for something in particular, or, someone has complained about someone else, like, hey, so-and-so's harassing me, well, we got to check it out, you know? Because you say someone that's harassing you, and then we realize that, you just rejected them and they called you on it, whatever the case may be, we do have to check it out.
So then you have to put on your cop uniform and go there.
Yeah. Just OkCupid police. Open up.
Excuse
Come
me,
on.
sir. Well, I need to go update my OkCupid account.
To say,
yeah.
You should just delete it.
I probably should just delete it. I'm going to do that. We'll be right back after this. And we're back. More Andrew Fox show. We're sitting here with Chanel Ali.
Hey.
Did you enjoy your break?
Yeah, I'm relaxed.
Yeah. You went to an after party with Michael Shea.
Yeah, so I opened up for Michael Shea at Caroline's. 2 sold out shows, amazing. And he was like, hey, I want you to come to this after party. I'm going to send you the password. You have to say it when you get there or they won't let you in. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be so fancy. It's going to be like SNL people just walking around.
Yeah.
And so he sends me the password, and I just look at it really quick, and it was Marco, like Marco Polo. But I got there, and I was so nervous. This huge bouncer was just in my face. He was like, do you know the password? And I was like, yes, macro. And he was like, no, that's not it. And I was like, oh my God, like, I just had this frenzy because I had this idea that, like, Michael Shea had given me the wrong password on purpose. And he was, like, hiding upstairs, looking down, like, ha ha ha, she's gonna try to sneak in here, like, and I couldn't, like, call him and be like, hey, can you come outside? So I was just like, man, this is a test. He's like, if Chanel can't get in this party with the wrong password that you can't keep opening for me. But eventually the guy took pity on me and he let me in. And I was like so happy to be inside, but then I was like,
bouncer.
Yes. I was like, come on, man, like I'm not here to hurt anybody, you know? He let me in, and then I was so mad when I got inside because there were so many hoes in there. And I was like, how did all these hoes get the password?
Wait, why did Michael Che?
How did all
what
these
does Michael
hoes
Che think of me?
I was like, you hoes got the password too? I don't think so. It's a conspiracy.
That's not fair. Was there a lot of crazy SNL people there?
Yeah, definitely. Like all the writers were there.
Oh,
a lot of the cast was there. And it's this crazy feeling when you're like meeting all these people and they're like, yeah, Chanel Ali, I know you. Yeah, Michael Che's been talking about you. And I'm like,
wow.
ha, you know my name. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Wow, I'm trying to act cool at this party. Okay. And it was like open bar. You could order food. It was free.
Whoa.
And then the party at like 2 a.m. I'm exhausted. Like I've gone through an emotional roller coaster. I'm exhausted, ready to go home. I'm like, this place is about to close. It's going to be great. At 2 a.m., they close down the venue and then lock us in for just us and then bring out more pizzas.
What?
Like they knew that Michael Che doesn't follow any rules. We're going to do this all night. I was like, no, I thought we were done.
That sounds way better than our after parties.
And do they do this like regularly? And do they change the password?
I think it was specific to him. And I've done enough shows now where I'm sure he's going to have to change that password.
Change showing up.
That's the real password.
Yeah. He's like, Chanel, I gave you one thing and you told everyone.
That's crazy. So do you know each other pretty well now?
I can't say that honestly.
No?
Other than comedy things, we don't really know each other.
Yeah.
Like we haven't spent that much close personal time.
Gotcha. How am I supposed to set up this nieces and nephews question?
Oh,
that's not real.
That's not real?
Yeah.
Don't do it?
It's a joke. If you want to just say, hey, so your nieces and nephews.
Oh, if you want to talk
do
about
comedy,
Drake.
you could just do that. If you want to set up, just don't say Drake.
You can say, you have a joke about, and I can say it is a joke. But.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So you have a joke about your nieces and nephews doing comedy?
No. I have a joke about my cousins seeing me do comedy.
Yeah.
And then being like, oh, you're sneaking and being famous behind our back. You're hanging out with Michael Che.
Mm-hmm.
When are we going to meet Drake? Go get Drake. Let's introduce him to us.
We got a surprise for you. Drake.
Hey! He's not here.
He's
not
almost
here. Brian got really excited. He thought he was here.
Everybody turned around. Even the camera guy turned around and looked at the door.
let's call him on his cell phone.
You could call him on something.
Is that how the
But I
song
have,
goes?
but I have this joke about Drake and how if I meet him, I'm gonna break his heart so that he'll put out really sad music, like amazingly sad music. And when I first started comedy and I did that joke around my boyfriend at the time, he hated it. He got so mad. He was like, I hate that joke. I was like, why? He's like, because you're talking about Drake. And I was like, but I'm not saying I'm gonna him. I'm saying I'm gonna break his heart. He's like, no, you're saying it.
But
yes, he is a tire above you. He's better than you.
But yeah, he was so mad.
People say he looks like Ed Sheeran.
Oh.
Do you want to break his heart?
No, you shouldn't let people talk to you like that.
I know, I do. I yell at them. Shut up.
I'm sorry.
I'm not like Ed
tell
Sheeran.
everybody.
You could use that to get into the Michael Che part.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, I don't know the password. It's me, Ed.
Hey, I'm from Brighton, England.
You gotta commit a little more.
I know.
It's a little more when you do it.
But you guys did do a music festival at Central Park together?
Yeah, so Michael Che hit me up randomly. Can I talk about smoking weed?
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are.
Well, if you don't want to, you don't
Nobody
have
told me what
to.
the rules are. You guys cussed earlier. I was like, I heard that.
The only thing holding you back is yourself.
So Michael J hit me up on like a Saturday, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was about to smoke some weed, and I was like, "Nothing." And he was like, "Come to the Central Park and do the show with me. It's a music festival. We're the only comedians." It was called Ozzy Fest.
Okay.
But it's like some pop. I don't even know. I had never heard of it. And so we get there, and there's like some blonde-haired girl on stage singing a song I never heard. The kids are screaming. It's like thousands of kids are screaming. I'm so nervous. And Michael Che is like, "You're only going to do 15, and then I'm going to do 40, but don't worry if you bomb, because then I'll bomb too. We'll just bomb together." And I'm like, what? Why you say don't worry through that sentence? Like, what are you saying? And so I'm like getting ready to go up, and they're like miking me and like doing my makeup, and it's like really crazy. And I look to my left, and Jason Derulo is standing there, and he's like practicing his dance moves because he's supposed to go on after us. And it's hilarious. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And all I could think was, not now, Jason Derulo. Not now, man. I don't have time to deal with this right now.
And is he like whispering his name while he's dancing? Jason.
No, but he was dressed in like all white. And it was definitely a whole thing. I was like, this is hilarious, and I'm going to stand here and make fun of you right now, but I can't. I'm so busy. And so I went out there, and I was really nervous, and I was just like, make some noise, New York City. And they were like, yeah, you told us to shout. We love shouting. Yeah, it just was like, and then I just knew like it's going to be fine. Like it's he, kind of had me a little worried that we were the only comedians, and they had come to see Jason Derulo instead, But it was great. It was a really amazing time.
I don't know what that's like. I just worry about bombing in front of Brian.
Yeah.
That's my life.
He's like the South Jersey's version of Jason Derulo.
He's the South Jersey version.
Dressed in all white, just dancing on stage.
So where can the folks at home find you?
Oh, so many places. I have a website, ChanelAli.com. You can go there to find all of my show info, when I'm going to be joking, where I'm going to be joking. You can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Chanel__Ali. That's Chanel like the perfume, 2 underscores, Ali like Muhammad.
Nice. And this will be out on time. You want to talk about the Punchline?
Yeah, I'm going to be hosting at the Punchline Comedy Club in Philly, March 29th, 30th, and 31st for Ali Sadiq. And he's a very funny guy. He's going to come with another very funny person, so come see us. It's going to be a great show.
Trying to save money on the marquee?
Yeah, a funny guy.
Can I do like 5?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
just
show
open with that joke.
Good night.
Don't do nothing.
I'm just going to feel like... Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It means so
cute. This is cute.
That's what I'm going for. It's cuteness. Well, it was really cool to have you.
Yeah, have a good time. Thank you.
We'll be right back. And that about does it for this episode of the Andrew Fox Show. Thank you again, Chanel.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thank you, Brian.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure.
I think you're the first repeat guest. I told you.
I make history in South Jersey. That's
Did you hear what Chanel said about the name of your segment?
Yeah.
What do you think?
That wasn't the worst criticism I've gotten. So it's all good.
I knew you could take it.
Yeah, you can take it.
Yeah.
All right, America. I love you. Good night.